So, for a while now, games have been getting worse and worse. Some of that is because the AAA companies have let greed guide them and release half-baked games that are just past the minimum amount of effort to be called a game, loaded with microtransactions. But the other cause of it is kind of more insidious, and it's finally being called out. You see, there are consulting companies that work with major video game companies to censor video games and make changes that try to ensure that the game won't be offensive to anyone, in service of their particular ideology of the week, and thus making the game woke, or devoid of everything interesting, and in favor of inoffensive corporatism. Now, we've seen these kinds of woke corporate games failing recently, the most recent of which was the new Suicide Squad game, which despite being a very expensive to make live service game from a major studio that was using a massive IP, tends to sit with less active players than Slime Rancher, an indie game about ranching cute little slimes from 2017. Now, a lot of players want to avoid buying games that play into the whole woke narrative, whether that's because woke games tend to be garbage or because they just really disagree with the politics of the woke people and don't want to support them. People looking into the different woke games recently have found that a few of them have all been identified as working with Sweet Baby Inc., whose website describes them as, founded in 2018, Sweet Baby Inc. is a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal and working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathic stories while diversifying and enriching the video games industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone, which is a statement that uses all of the language you'd expect from a woke company and identifies them as a narrative development and consultation studio. Seeing as they work on narratives and they want to make games more inclusive and diverse, people think that they may be one of the heads of the Hydra that is ruining the gaming world by getting studios to change their games to focus less on being fun by forcing them to make changes for the purpose of diversity and inclusivity. I know that to some people, those two things are important, but as for me, I'd prefer games that are fun. If they can make a diverse game that is fun, then that'd be fine. But to me, it does seem like when companies focus too much on the politics and how their game will be received by a very small group of people whose ideology is entirely based in a small part of California, that their games tend to be awful. So this led one guy to take a stand. Steam, the gaming platform, has a feature that lets reviewers curate their own lists. It's a feature that I don't think many people actually use to find out if games are good or not, since most of the people I know just check the recent reviews, but it does have its uses. So this one guy made a curator profile and created a list of all the games Sweet Baby Inc. had been publicly involved with. It's called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, and it's currently sitting at over 100,000 followers, most of whom came in just in the last few days, after the controversy we're about to get into, so stay tuned. The About section calls the list a tracker for games involved with Sweet Baby Inc. He doesn't actually call for a boycott of games they're involved with, though I think it's kind of safe to say that that's his unspoken reason for making the curation list. The list itself is also inoffensive, just stating games they had worked with and citing where he got the information from. For instance, this Assassin's Creed Valhalla entry says that it used to be featured on the website for Sweet Baby Inc. and provides a web archive link because they removed the game from their site, but an archived version of the site shows the game. Quickly like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks. Well, let's talk about the drama that happened on Twitter over this. You see, someone at Sweet Baby Inc. was not happy to see that their involvement with a ton of different games was being brought to the light. So what did they do? Well, typically woke people have two options in their arsenal: claim harassment for sympathy and try to cancel the person who's hurting their feelings. Unfortunately for the Sweet Baby people, they would try both and it would backfire on them tremendously. It started with this tweet from someone named Chris, who claims to work at Sweet Baby Inc. In their Twitter/X bio, Chris said, "The Steam Curator harassment group, Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, is led by this person, at Cabrutus Rambo. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. Even with the discriminatory language filed off, the group itself still fails the code of conduct. There are screenshots, but since Chris's Twitter is privated, I can't show them. But when I looked at them, I didn't see anything that was particularly bad in the screenshots." Now, what did I say that the woke mob always tries to do? Claim harassment. Yeah, harassment was the fourth word of that tweet, and then try to cancel the person behind it, which was also in the tweet. Chris tagged Steam and claimed that the group violates Steam's code of conduct. It does not appear to. And at the same time, tagged the creator on the list, showing that Chris or some other woke person tracked down the guy's Twitter handle. This is an intimidation tactic often used by the woke people. They'll stalk you and find out as much as they can about you to release and try to scare you. Don't forget that time a reporter tracked down a Twitter user who just reposts woke TikToks and went to her house. I think that if the creator of the curation list didn't live in South America, Chris probably would have included his employer in the tweet as as well. That's one tactic they love to use, but doesn't work so well in any country with actual problems, and so can't focus on all the stupid stuff that the West worries about because we have no real problems anymore. But that wasn't the end of Chris's tweets. Chris then posted a link to the Sweet Baby Inc. detected curation list and asked followers to report the group and try to get it removed. Not stopping there though, Chris posted the link to the guy's Steam profile as well, trying to get people to mass report it in hopes that that would get banned as well. Now, I don't think I need to tell you that that is unhinged behavior. For some reason, whenever woke stuff is posted openly, out of the shadows for all of us to see, not even presented with any commentary, like this group, which just said that the games on the list had Sweet Baby Inc. involved in the game, but no other commentary. They freak out. I think a lot of it is that the majority of people don't really care about what they care about, and in reality, the average person thinks that woke stuff is just a bit weird. Personally, I tend to think that woke stuff is usually racist in the, we know better than you do kind of racism. Personally, I'm of the opinion that race and sex diversity doesn't matter at all in games, because for the most part, all that matters is that the game is fun. What do you think? It doesn't end there though. Another person whose bio claimed that they work at Sweet Baby harped onto the conversation to add some of their own commentary, only to get called out by Twitter's community notes. Felix posted, for example, at Steam doesn't have guidelines for curators, as far as I can tell, that would prevent someone from starting a curation group that focuses on, say, Sweet Baby Inc. and warns people not to buy games they're associated with, which could just list any game at all, insinuating that the person behind the list could just put whatever he wanted on the list, and it could just be completely made up. Unfortunately for Felix, the Twitter community note corrected the tweet, saying the curator uses Sweet Baby Inc.'s website for their source, with a link to the community to showcase this, followed by, also it should be noted that at Lego Butts, Felix works for Sweet Baby Inc., with an archive link showing that. I think that the gaming community in general has just had enough of the woke stuff, to be honest. No one really cares for it, all people want is fun games to play, and that's it. Luckily, the people who posted the tweets that were accusing the list of being harassment were hit with some immediate backlash. Since Elon bought Twitter and ousted a lot of the old guard who would protect these kinds of people from being confronted with legitimate criticism, people can actually call this stuff out now, which is probably the one good thing that Elon's done at Twitter since he bought it. And call it out they did. I honestly think that the tweets did nothing but invoke the Streisand effect, as the curation group has grown in size tremendously since these tweets went viral. They got so mad at something really small and inconsequential, and by trying to cancel it, they accidentally made it bigger than it ever would have been otherwise. They overplayed their hand, and now we await to see the consequences. What do you think about this whole thing? Do you think that wokeness has any place in games? Or do you just not care at all, as long as the game is fun? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching all the way till the end. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and God bless you.